And if they can't use this emotional manipulation on Facebook like they have been for the past several years, maybe we will see an end to this kind of psychotic, insane fake news stories that have been just dominating social media for so long. Facebook recently announced changes that may spell the death of many digital publications and cause significant damage to the mainstream media and many mainstream large digital publications. They're going to be changing the news feed. Now, I know many people are excited because there's so much BS that gets shared on Facebook, be it left-wing or right-wing. People are posting things that are fake news or hyper-partisan or hyperbolic, and many of these companies know exactly what they're doing. They're putting out content because they know it will get shares, and they're gonna make money off of it. Unfortunately, in that haystack of bad content and fake news, there are the needles, which are actual good journalism. And you know what? When these changes happen, it's the good journalism that gets the axe first. In light of all the demonetization and the threats to journalism, let me take about 30 seconds to give a shout out to my sponsor. Virtual Shield is a virtual private network service. This gives you a certain level of protection from being spied on from hackers. Go to virtualshield.com/Timcast and use the promo code Timcast to get 20% off your first term and no payments for 30 days. If you are security conscious, I recommend checking out the site again, virtualshield.com/Timcast. Use the promo code Timcast, hit get protected, check it out. Now, let's look at what Facebook said in their announcement. In a blog post from January 11th, Mark Zuckerberg says he does a lot of things, but the most important thing I think is right here. We started making changes in this direction last year, but it will take months for this new focus to make its way through all our products. The first changes you'll see will be in Newsfeed, where you can expect to see more from your friends, family, and groups. As we roll this out, you'll see less public content like posts from businesses, brands, and media. And the public content you see more will be held to the same standard. It should encourage meaningful interactions between people. And this has been the basis of the announcement, that Facebook wants to make sure that the interactions you have on Facebook are meaningful. The idea being that Facebook was launched to help us connect to our friends and family, but over time it's become saturated by businesses, by blogs, by brands and media and videos, and they want to get back to their core. Now, honestly, I think it might have more to do with the fact that as Facebook becomes saturated by ads and nonsense, people use it less. Look, I was on MySpace, I was on all these social media platforms, and you know one of the biggest drivers of leaving MySpace, at least in my opinion, was the clutter. It just became so cluttered that it was hard to navigate. There was music playing, there were ads, and it was just kind of congested. And then Facebook came around and it was much simpler, much cleaner, and they actually had the chat function so you could message friends, and that's what really made me switch over. This was so long ago. But now it feels like Facebook has become just, you log in, and do you really see a lot from your friends and family? Sure, to an extent, but you're getting inundated by these videos. I see my friends complaining about these viral video channels, these pages that know how to manipulate the Facebook algorithm. So it's no surprise then that Facebook has decided to make a change, probably because they want to maintain the health of the platform. But is it really about creating meaningful conversations, or is it just about maximizing profits? I don't think we're children. I think we all understand exactly what a business is doing and why it's doing it, and the key motivator for any business is to make sure it survives and makes money. According to Quartz Media, Facebook's move to meaningful is about getting you to click the ads. Last week, Facebook announced a big change to the newsfeed. Facebook will prioritize posts that spark conversations and meaningful interactions between friends, families, and groups, as well as reduce the number of items in the newsfeed that come from media, brands, and publishers. Investors took note of CEO Mark Zuckerberg's warning that this change would reduce the time people spend on Facebook, and the stock price promptly dropped 4.5%. Facebook's goal in changing the newsfeed is to shift us from being passive to being actively engaged. This, in turn, will drive more interaction with ads, so making the ads more valuable. Plain and simple. See, YouTube has made some significant changes, and the adpocalypse has negatively infected a lot of people, including myself. In my opinion, I think YouTube, Google, at least in some part, is motivated by driving up the price of its ads. We learned that they're going to be removing many channels from the partner program and making it so that around 95% of YouTube channels will not be eligible for the partner program. So you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, you have to have at least 4,000 viewer hours. What does this mean? Significantly less space for advertisers to be on. And that's going to cause the price per ad per view to go up. At least that's in my opinion. Like, I've used Google's ad system, I've advertised, and these are some of the things that I've noticed. It's hard to quantify exactly what's going on, but I think it is a possibility that this is one of the motivators. And now we're seeing Facebook do something similar. The cost of ads is 1 cent per view, okay? I've advertised before. Seriously, you can advertise something and it costs you 1 penny. If it could be cheaper, it would, but that's literally the smallest denomination that you can actually spend. So how do these companies solve the problem? They need to make sure that advertisers are getting a better return on their investment to justify higher spending, and thus create more competition between advertisers to drive the price up for Facebook. And thus, Facebook makes these changes. Now, for many of you, you may not be aware that Facebook has been the largest driver of traffic for so many publishers. When I worked for these big mainstream companies, we would look up at the chart beat, the analytics for our current articles, and it would always be around 50+% driven from Facebook. Many of the companies I worked with didn't even want to use Twitter because they said Twitter's engagement is so microscopic, it's just a waste of time. One of the companies I worked for said, we're not going to include a Twitter button on the page because it just doesn't work. The Facebook share button, on the other hand, it does work, and Facebook does drive traffic. So guess what? With Facebook making these changes, what's going to happen? These digital publishers are going to be losing out, and they're going to lose out big. See, about a month ago, Recode had a story. Google is sending more traffic than Facebook to publishers again. Because for a long time, Google was on top. But then Facebook took over and was the largest driver of traffic for a little while, until just recently, when Google has reclaimed its position on the top. Google used to be the main source of referral traffic for web publishers. Then Facebook eclipsed it. And now Google is back on top again. Over the course of 2017, the search engine has become publishers' main source of external page views, according to new data from Parsley, a digital analytics company. So there's a lot of reasons why this change happened, but one of them is that Facebook is constantly updating its newsfeed algorithm, and any changes to the way Facebook surfaces stories could have far-reaching effects on publishers. Last year, for example, the social media company tweaked its algorithm to prioritize posts from friends and family over publishers. So this isn't the first time that Facebook has tried to prioritize meaningful conversations over business and brand interaction. There's been a broad move towards publishing video directly on Facebook, which could affect how many links to web stories publishers put on their Facebook pages. Any algorithms on Facebook that prioritize native video over text links could have an effect too. So let's break this down. Facebook is competing with Google to be the top referrer to publishers. Many news organizations, especially the ones I've worked with, heavily prioritize Facebook and search engine optimization so that they can get traffic and then they can sell ads against that traffic. And Facebook is making changes, which is going to reduce the amount of time people spend on the site, and it's going to prioritize friends and family. So that means these digital publishers are going to see less traffic coming to their sites, and this may have a seriously detrimental effect on an already desperate news environment. Now, a lot of people have been speculating that with the layoffs we've been seeing over the past year and beyond, that certain companies may be facing total shutdown. Now, I'll just tell you straight up, people think BuzzFeed is in trouble, right? BuzzFeed UK specifically, but I don't think that this is as bad as many people think. I think there's going to be layoffs. We've seen layoffs across the board, but certainly we can see that there has been some reaction. From Rosalind Warinch said, absolutely gutted to see my old newsroom shrink and so many of my talented, wonderful friends tweeting out their last day at BuzzFeed UK. They are all good people who made my time there brilliant from day one. Such a shame and a sad reflection on our industry. She then goes on to ask that you consider hiring several people. And from this tweet alone, there's about 7 people, though she does follow up with an 8th. These aren't the only people who have tweeted out that they're leaving the company, leading many people to think that BuzzFeed UK is hurting. I don't think BuzzFeed's in any serious danger, and I'm actually surprised people think this is a new story considering the layoffs were announced a long time ago. I actually reported on this story when it happened because BuzzFeed was set to lay off 100 staffers in major reorganization. The story flat out says, BuzzFeed is set to lay off 100 staffers as the company reconfigures its business side and UK bureau after missing revenue targets earlier this year. But on Twitter, you can see that many people have been mentioning layoffs. And, over the past few days, there's been some conversation about whether or not BuzzFeed is in some kind of jeopardy, but this is an old story. But let's get back to the main point, Facebook and their algorithm changes. This might actually be a good thing. It's really hard to predict exactly what's going to happen. But if Facebook makes these changes and it deprioritizes brands, media, publishers, etc., then they're going to have to find a different way to get traffic. And if they can't use this emotional manipulation on Facebook like they have been for the past several years, maybe we will see an end to this kind of psychotic, insane fake news stories that have been just dominating social media for so long. I mean, My God, the other day, Newsweek wrote a story about Hillary Clinton still possibly being the president, and I'm just thinking to myself, my God, seriously? Yeah, seriously. This story, Hillary Clinton could still become president if Russia probe finds conspiracy evidence. They posted this yesterday morning. This story is based on a blog that was written in October. That's what we have to deal with. When you have, I'm giving you an example, right? These companies do this stuff all the time. It's just absolutely insane, hyperbolic, hyper-partisan nonsense because this story is an attempt to get Hillary Clinton supporters to click so they can make money. They don't actually care about the election. And this is the problem. So maybe with Facebook's change, we might see this kind of nonsense deprioritized. Hopefully, this will push us more towards a service-based news industry instead of an emotional-based one. If news organizations say the only way to get people to click is to provide them with a service, and that people are going to monetize these services through subscriptions, we might actually see news recover. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Facebook changes, good or bad? Is it a good thing that this is going to negatively impact digital publishers? I want to know what you think. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter @TimCast. And if you want to support my work, go to timcast.com/donate. Give whatever you'd like or give nothing at all. My videos are always free and available every day at 4 p.m. So again, thank you all so much. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.